my asshole burns.
Hello, dear viewer. You've caught me in a funny mood.
What the fuck?
Today's topic, jokes. Some jokes are funny. Some people are funny. So naturally, it stands to reason that some people are utter fucking jokes. In this day and age of the lamest dystopia known to mankind, shame isn't a sought after commodity.
We gotta protect our youth. We gotta protect our kids.
Hi, I'm White Show Speed, and my top 10 games of all time list has revealed the height of my media palette to be situated roughly between The Hungry Caterpillar and Postman Pat.
This guy is fucking stupid!
In moments such as these, we realise that we are the real jokes. For instance, I upload my new video on Menace, a game about conventional warfare tactics utilised on faraway space frontiers by a parallel to the USMC, only to then see that the Trump administration just glassed the supreme leader of Iran. Whoops, my bad guys. I wasn't aware that the current administration based their foreign policy off my videos. Don't worry, I'll suffer for my hubris on this one, and believe me, I did. From roughly 12 AM to 8 AM the very next day, my digestive system underwent an intense and intermittent session of transferring my stomach's contents from my mouth and nose to whatever receptacle was readily available. Take it from me, dear viewer, there's nothing like a bout of nondescript, unknown food poisoning to make a man miss the simple taste of fresh water. But why am I telling you this? Because we, humanity, are the ultimate joke. We laugh because if we didn't, we'd probably cry, and in yet another selfless altruistic act for my common man, I present my own anecdotal failures as a vessel for your amusement. Over time, I've tried my hand at a couple different games for the sake of exploration. Many of them have, appropriately, made me feel like the joke I was destined to be. For this year's April Fools, I thought there'd be no better opportunity to share with you an anthology of my bite-sized opinions for the sake of miscellaneous amusement. So sit back, prepare yourself for the peak of humour, and relish the digital suffering of your court jester, because I had no other ideas on what to do for this month, and I need a fucking break. Why have we built a spawn here?
The game is broken! What the fuck you say to me, you I'm losing every single game!
They're pushing left side, left side, left side!
Silly? Don't you feel stupid? Don't you feel a little ashamed?
Get ready, boys. Get ready, boys. We're gonna charge them.
We're gonna blitz their
That was the gayest thing I've heard. What is over the top about? Impermanent. Life is fleeting. It can and will be taken at any time. For the millions lost in the First World War, they know this all too well. For the developers of Over the Top, they may very well know this too. You see, games such as this live and die off one resource.
I can do my best.
Serious? Role players. Big battle war games such as this are such a delight to me because of the initial rush of them you get populating servers in the first few days.
Yes, sir!
Aim! Ready!
Get it!
Everyone is new, no one knows what's going on, and the team is kept together by sheer vibes and aura.
What the fuck?
Do not let them seize the piano, sir!
Bloody hell, Monty, I think you're the only one in this army with a fucking clue what's going on. But Monty, oh, your sweet supple lips, Monty, wrapped round that trumpet do bring me comfort. He does not falter, he does not flee, yet here you stand like a coward. Attack the enemy,
In real life, we are strangers, none of us know each other, and for many, we never will. But here, on this digital battlefield, we are united as siblings by our visceral hatred for the people who dared to be on the other team.
They have done absolutely nothing wrong, but they're blue. I've always hated the color blue.
Take this young man right here. I'm Zeus. Oh,
What the homosexuality is fucking going on here?
Loyal, unfaltering, courageous.
No, Captain Kenway! Left side! Motherfucker! Fuck you, bitch!
a tactical genius,
Plan, attack, that's attack!
a fearsome warrior, enemy ahead behind the trench, and basically 50% of the fun I was having that night.
Are we defending or attacking?
We're defending, you fool!
God damn it, fuck me!
Why were you trying to attack?
I've been trying this entire time!
Players such as this are the whole appeal of a game like Over the Top, and attracting them is a matter of delicacy. Too hardcore and complex, they won't bother. Too casual and simple, they're made extinct by players being able to do anything and not having to interact with one another. You want a game that is satisfying to work with broadly, but not too demanding of a player, so that they are truly free to be silly. Getting these players to hop on is hard, but getting them to stick around? That's the true challenge. As far as games go, Over the Top is endearingly clunky. The UI looks like it was taken from something I'd have played on Armor Games a decade ago, and hit registration is sometimes more of a suggestion than a system of play.
Oh, probably.
What are you aiming at?
What the fuck? Yeah, my...
That said, because the game is just so slapstick and wacky, it's hard to ever really take it seriously enough to get actually angry, and you're in it as much to shoot at things as you are just to watch the local wildlife. But then, it hits you. You put more hours in. You start getting better at the game. Your expectations of others' skill naturally starts to rise, all the while the actual skill of others starts to exponentially plummet. Did you get saddled with the French team? Well, congratulations. You will now proceed to lose every single match, no matter how hard you try to spoon feed them. Picking engineer to place spawns is a simple matter of time. You will tweak out, you will crash out, and you will uninstall the game because your team keep putting their spawns in the worst possible positions and stop you from doing anything.
Why have we built a spawn here? What are we fucking doing, guys? Our spawn is just in the middle of the field. No exaggeration. Within line of sight of me. I spent all that time taking down that spawn, and they've just built it in the same fucking spot.
Okay, well, I'll just switch over to the German team. Surely this will fix the issue.
I'm currently dealing with the local wildlife thingy.
Your defeats will be so colossal, and somehow they will continue to be made even worse by the fact you're losing to the most comically racist people you've ever encountered.
Fuck you, guy. Yeah, that's right. Burn, you know.
What the fuck?
Bunch of baboon.
Bruh.
Bunch of baboon.
Bruh.
Bunch of baboon.
Bruh.
I love that, bruh.
See?
Bruh. Bruh.
I hate
If we
Triscuits.
lose this war, the Jews will control America in 100 years.
I no longer feel comfortable saying the word that describes a person who digs, because they were saying it so often, making their reference so blatant, that I feel like I'll become complicit in some form of race war if I do so. I got this game for completely free, due to my e-begging connections with quite possibly one of the baddest VTuber models I've ever seen.
Dude, I want to jerk off!
Thank you, Ziggy Lata, for your fertile and twink-maxing streams. So while I can state Over the Top is undeniably fun with a group of pals, and you'll definitely have a good time, it's not without the incredibly frustrating caveats of dying to random bullshit every 5 seconds and shouldering the burden of America's newest generation of social outcasts. Over the Top is at the top of the list, because from here on out, things will only get much, much worse.
Mr. Bones, I want to get off your wild ride.
Why you get frightened?
Are you crazy?
You're fucking paranoid, man.
You are fucking.
You fucking you bloody.
You bloody.
You bloody.
What is Town of Salem about? Injustice. Fun fact, my email address was first leaked by Town of Salem's proprietor, Blank Media Games, potentially along with my IP address and password. The concept of data security is a bit of an in-joke among staff members, the same way logic and reason are a gag within the game's community. Town of Salem is a social deduction game akin to Mafia. Someone out there is a big bad killing innocent people every night, and it's your job as the numerous townies or evil roles to intervene in different ways. The theming and premise also feature direct and deliberate similarities to the Salem witch trials as a partial acknowledgement of the absence of any rational reasoning. Back in the heyday of 2015, this game was packed with players and offered enough complexity to make things interesting while not overloading you with information. A decade later, the game is packed with 20 million different roles, and I'd sooner understand the fundamentals of quantum physics than I would the wall of abbreviated jargon filling my chat at any given moment. I typed into my browser the fake role claims for the arsonist during one round, where, instead of a simple chart, I was presented a PhD thesis on the proposed optimal strategy to play. The very second night of the game, I was jailed and asked for my role. I said bodyguard, I told them who I protected the night before, to which the jailer went, nah, I don't think so, and murdered me in my cell. This is the core of the problem. You can have an intricate plan detailing the minute-to-minute moments of its execution, revising and memorizing the specific claims to send in chat at any given time, but all of this can easily crumble because it's founded upon the assumption everyone else is also thinking the same way. Most of the time, the other players aren't dictated by rational thought, but whatever passes their arbitrary and vague vibe check. There is many a time where no suspicion has been cast, there are no leads to follow, but a guy who hasn't said a word all day votes for someone, to which everyone else immediately dogpiles the random victim and executes them because they're bored. The messed up part? This usually works, so in terms of gameplay, it becomes a sunk cost fallacy to try and properly engage with it. Why would I spend time creating a robust rhetoric to protect myself when the common denominator of the experience is just the random chance someone votes you up to the noose? This itself can be endearing and entertaining. Back a decade ago, the all-any mode, a configuration where all roles are randomized for wacky results such as multiple serial killers or a platoon of mafia members, was the designated shitpost mode. If you clicked on all-any, you didn't do it because you wanted to actually play, but because it attracted utterly insane specimens that would make everything entertaining, even in death. Nowadays, all-any is practically the default mode, a natural product of time's passing, so you don't even have bizarre antics to distract you from the usual complete confusion. And, anecdotally, all-any is the zenith of what Town of Salem can offer. One day, the geniuses at Blank Media Games thought there'd be no better pairing than Town of Salem and a ranked competitive mode. In one of the most glaring examples of not understanding your own creation, they believed Town of Salem was incomplete without the addition of Pro League Among Us.
It says you are sus. Literally!
Conceptually, Town of Salem is the kind of game you'd play and enjoy most in familiar company. There's room to actually outsmart and deceive one another, but also the friendship that makes being detected by complete luck or chance more amusing than annoying. Its casual nature means you're never really caring enough to feel cheated. It's already bad enough when scaled up to accommodate strangers where the charm of losing on a whim is non-existent. But by creating a competitive mode, you make it even worse and turn these endearing quirks of a silly social deduction game into glaring issues that undermine the ability for a player to have strategy or at all influence the outcome of the match. You also attract scores of people who feel they must win at everything they do, evidenced by the fact they'd actually want to spend their time playing competitive Among Us, and this creates a disastrous combination. The defining experience of ranked Town of Salem is the usual cluelessness of casual play with the concentrated and unyielding aggression of competitive matchmaking. You didn't protect my day one mayor claim? You're throwing. You didn't vote who I was voting for? You're throwing. You didn't immediately tell me what your role was at the start of the game? You're throwing. You voted me up because I did something suspicious? You're throwing. Every possible action a player could take that doesn't align with another's 5-year economic plan is perceived as a deliberate attempt to grief, even when these roles are opposed and exist for the purpose of ousting the other. You've got all these players stacked atop each other, all of which assume themselves to be the protagonist of a round, and none of which seem to understand that miscommunication and confusion is sometimes just part of the game. This is all well and good as an anecdotal retelling, but where's the footage to supplement this? I was asking the very same thing. So, I squatted for 10 minutes, looking for a ranked match, just to be repeatedly informed there was no one else. I learned that they made a sequel, and I put some time into it before trying to access the ranked queue. Oh, I can't access it without paying. Okay, fair enough. This game needs to monetize itself somehow, and only the most dedicated would actually waste their time with this. It's just £4, no big deal, that's okay. So I pay the money, I gain the deed, I mouse over the ranked queue button just to see. Actually, I'd only paid for the privilege of seeing the extent of how cucked I was. I had to play 50 matches to gain access to the queue. At this point, I solidified myself as the superior to all the fools playing this game by closing the application and uninstalling it from my SSD. Perhaps the true strategy to winning at Town of Salem is by doing literally anything else.
Let's go gambling! Aw, dang it. Aw, dang it. Aw, dang it.
What is Wu Odyssey about? Disappointment.
I'm so sick of this fucking company.
That single second of seeing it in the corner of your eye is perhaps the most excitement this game could ever stir up in your soul. At a glance, this game is purpose fit for me and my perversions. I'm a Darkest Dungeon gamer. I'm also a furry gooner. If there was a moment I was ever considered a target demographic, it was right now. But I was wrong. Woefully wrong. What could have been a merging of one of my favourite art styles with an aesthetic I believe has the potential to be genuinely expressive and intriguing is, instead, a gambling machine flaunting the flayed skin of the IP it's desecrating. Unlike the GOAT, you're not pulling heroes from the stagecoach to commit to the slaughter every week as part of a mechanically incentivized and narratively important meat grinder. Instead, you need 30 recruit badges to unlock one of the characters. These badges trickle throughout the game, so that naturally acquiring them is artificially impossible. Instead, you'll be spending your currency, silver dragons, for single pulls to unlock these badges. To unlock a single character, you'd need to do 30 quests minimum to get the money, and that's under the assumption every pull would be giving you the same recruit badge for the same character every time, all the time, as opposed to the reality of giving you repackaged ones and zeros that provide a decimal point to a random stat. So, probably, you're gonna have to spend real money for this fake character. Oh, and if they die, congratulations, that money you spent is now gone more than it already was. The inclusion of gacha here quite literally ensures the destruction of everything you could possibly enjoy. Editing your party composition is a big part of Darkest Dungeon. It's both a way for the player to explore their agency, as well as physically required by the logistical costs of stress, the arrangement of the enemy factions, the amount of money you have, and the deaths incurred along the way. Within the first hour of playing Darkest Dungeon, you already have multiple teams to field with different skills and functionalities. In Dongwu's first hour, you get one new person as a result of a story quest that, if you lose, is practically gone forever. Because recovering from losing a party member is so damning, you're not going to experiment and take risks. You're only going to use what works, so you'll be using the same guys over and over without actual alternatives. Because of this, stress also has to be tuned down to be a way smaller inconvenience as the attenuated miasma. You get too much miasma, your guy might crash out or lock in, but then that's it. They don't need to be switched out or treated, because then they'd have to make characters more readily available to replace them, and that would upset the gluttony machine Dongwu exists to enshrine. You know what does persist? Physical health damage, so you'll be spending silver dragons upon return every time to recover from injuries, further diminishing your ability to explore the game. All these problems are acknowledged by a safe mode toggle. Your characters and equipment are protected, but your gains are lower. It's a choice between grinding and gambling, two G's of force that shatter any and all sense of a meaningful resource economy. All of this is without paying attention to how every character has the same fixed skills of no ability to mix them, which conveniently lets the developers segment them into more characters you'll have to pay to roll for, or how absent it is of meaningful direction. Darkest Dungeon is structured, purposeful, thought out, and well presented from start to end, with the only main hiccup being I had to physically teach my friends how to better understand what was going on. In Dongwu, nothing makes sense and nothing matters. The reasons for your crusade aren't clear-cut, the reason for why you'd ever be able to recruit anyone isn't apparent, there's no attempt at an actual constructed fantasy world making good use of this aesthetic, and you're constantly bombarded with appeals to your mother's maiden name and those 3 little numbers on the back.
So to help him, what he's gonna need is your credit card number. 3 digits on the back and the expiration month and date, but you've gotta be quick.
I mean, look at this. I'm being advertised a skin for a character I don't even have yet. It comes as no surprise this is just a shitty port of a Chinese mobile game knockoff, mindlessly deriving the visual identity and gameplay framework of Darkest Dungeon, while failing to actually emulate what gave that visual identity and gameplay framework so much cultural relevance. It's evident in the blurred art assets assets, the cluttering of buttons to press, the repeated prompts to skip the game I've likely put actual money into. It might puzzle you why a port of a mobile game would earn such a vengeful fixation and an hour of my playtime. This is because, past the Guna hyperbole, I dislike that anthro characters are just a marketing trend. It's not wholly hard to understand why. As many likely know, furries are a species beholden to the whim of their genitalia, and all it takes for them to fork out their credit card is a blue square on a TV screen. But all these cool pieces of art I see out in the wild and other media online show that this can and already is way more. It's an earnest and interesting way of expression and world building I think is overlooked as just a way to get horny people using a cosmetic skin. So its place here isn't just because it's a blatant ripoff of something I adore, a direct act of disrespect to the visionaries that made it possible, but also because it's a hollowing out of what I see as a potentially important aesthetic. So fuck you, Dongwu, you scorched your one and only true shooter on the block, so I'm just gonna go download the furriest dungeon mod on the Steam Workshop and lust over the Lion Crusader's mighty tree trunks.
My lord!
The demons, they're after me. Hey, they watch me. They're in my head. The demons are in my head. Don't do it! I'm so speed! That is speed!
What is Highguard about? Second-hand embarrassment. No, I didn't play it, and as of right now, no one else will either. No, I'm not gloating. That implies I would care enough about this game to do that. The only reason I wish to focus on it here is the military-grade, premium-quality, industrial-quantity cope uttered by the lead tech artist Josh Sobel following its collapse. Sobel sincerely believes Highguard's failure can be exclusively attributed to a collective hate boner that would have continued to throb regardless of what the game was or tried to do. People piled on for views and personal gain, hiding their genuine feelings to appeal to a bandwagon of viewers who wanted blood to be spilled. As a concept, I don't disagree. There have been plenty of instances online, in and outside of gaming spaces, where people will swear themselves to hating something without even introspecting if it is at all catered to their specific tastes. It's a result of the internet's centrifugal force of polarization that separates everyone out into their own extreme ends of the spectrum. Moderate opinions don't get clicks like hyperbole does. It isn't untrue to say people who trashed Highguard probably got way more views than people who said it was just okay. But this is as far as my sympathy goes. How can you, with a straight face, complain that the negative reaction started immediately upon seeing the promotional material? Did they expect people to become enamored with the melted down reactant taken from Overwatch, Valorant and Apex Legends? It is mainstream trend chasing condensed into game form, from how it looks to how it plays to how it sounds. To many, this sort of game isn't interesting conceptually, and a lot of people are quite tired of it. The idea that not taking to something cartoonishly generic that belongs in the background of a TV show somewhere is a form of coordinated slander is the sort of blindness that likely led the team to believe this just could not fail in the first place. Do we owe developers our money and time for games we don't like? Should we pity play everything that doesn't remotely interest us? That's just not how this works. This vague mass of content creators he blamed are the very same people who queued up to go and play it on launch. They put in more effort to give Highguard a shot than anyone else, even if it was for their own interests. So if people saw what you made and thought it was bad, saw the absence of any media promotion and thought it was bad, played the game for themselves at launch and thought it was bad, I'm just spitballing here, perhaps Highguard was bad. If it had been good, people would have stuck around. The studio wouldn't have immediately fired a chunk of their staff, and it wouldn't have closed a month later. If it was good, the fact the studio didn't bother to try and continue investing in it and instead threw the towel in immediately is a pretty big indicator even they knew it wasn't going to work out. Gamers as a phenomenon present a lot of problems for creators and critics alike. They can be very short-sighted, not always value the artistic merit of things, and can incite actual harassment towards developers for stepping out of line in some perceived way. Goodbye Volcano High wasn't amazing by any means, and it would be completely fair to regard it as bad. However, the moment the trailer dropped, the developers were relentlessly harassed for being queer and making a queer game. That is terrible, unacceptable, and unfortunately, quite common. But there's a difference between this unfortunately common toxicity in the modern gaming culture and people leaving negative reviews mere minutes in because Highguard was so unremarkably bad that it only took that long to make their mind up. Highguard wasn't a victim of gamers, it wasn't even a victim of Jeff Keighley, it was a victim of itself, and seemingly because Wildlight Entertainment are incapable of being embarrassed, I shall bear this cross and be embarrassed on their behalf. The only thing worse, the fact Jeff Keighley praised this game so highly in the first place. Seriously? This was your awakening? Are the masses ignorant to Outer Wilds' shining glory, or have ranking systems and elo calculations hampered our brains so much we can only truly come to appreciate something if it's got a meaningless hierarchy of affirmations attached to it? And that's for real embarrassment, isn't it? The idea gamers' stupidity got in the way of them truly understanding Highguard, when, really, gamers' stupidity is quite literally the only reason something like Highguard could have ever have hoped to stand an actual fucking chance.
And I thought this game was about realistic medieval combat, and this guy's doing some domain expansion Goku Dragon Ball shit on my dick when I'm fighting him. There's a bear trap!
What is Mordhau about? The cycle of abuse. If you're familiar with my channel, you already know of my extended history with this genre and the numerous bruises it has earned me. When I lie in bed at night and close my eyes, those nightmares are etched into my eyelids. I cannot peel my gaze away, no matter how hard I wish I could. Slashing wasn't just a mistake, it was a need, an addiction, an itch to scratch I could only ever satisfy by physically peeling myself open and reaching deep within. People in my community suggested I give Mordhau a try for the sake of pure curiosity. So I did. Afterwards, I had those server members tied to trees and flogged for their deliberate sabotage. Mordhau has to be one of the best documented games on the platform currently, with channels delving deep into the development history and the gradual bleeding of players throughout its life. My coverage is purely anecdotal and embedded deep in the emotional insecurities of losing to a guy with this profile.
You just got beamed, you fucking loser.
I'm not pursuing some form of journalistic integrity, just avenging my own bruised ego. And you know I'm standing on business because that's the real essence of a melee slasher player. As a game with the central draw of large-scale combat, you already know my main grudge with it is being constantly cucked by a guy off screen who I could have never possibly seen or prepared for. I spend my time being abused and desecrated by someone with 1,000 hours in a game, and when I finally manage to get them to death's door, a second of their ilk emerges with a big fuck-off hammer that one-shots me, as if despite the head-to-toe heavy armor I'm wearing. And yes, I understand that is quite literally the point of a hammer, the same way the point of your rancid odor is to stop women making the mistake of fucking you. This is far from a one-off happening. 7 years down the line, the only remaining players are the truly dedicated and autistically hyperfixated, so a strong proportion of the native player base are able to kill me with inconceivable speed. I hit a guy once in the back just for him to turn around and display his commitment issues by feinting 10 consecutive swings. The first frame of my timed parry immediately puts him on the offensive, where he twists his body around and underhands the swing as part of some bizarre move called Satan's Gooch Tickler. I die, respawn, go back, fuck you, asshole! Hit him again. This time, when he feints the next 10 swings, I gamble on the second. Rookie mistake. He sees the first frame of a wind-up and accelerates his slash into my cranium as part of his patented skullfucker gambit. Whatever happens, the outcome is the same.
Is that dick good? Yes, kid.
Repeated defeat has caused me to develop a full-blown victim complex that has transformed me into a closer approximation of the average Mordhau player. Now, I'm not just really gay, I'm also really racist. The exact moment I see a PlayStation player, I make it my life's mission to make their time on Mordhau as unpleasant as I can, without fail. I can't beat anyone who knows what they're doing, so I take my anger out by beating this unsuspecting console player to death, even if they're on my own team. The actual wealth of what Mordhau has to offer isn't the gameplay but the social aspects augmenting it. Contrary to popular belief, Mordhau actually isn't worse than Chivalry 2, although sometimes it is a close contest.
Excuse me, what the actual fuck?
A lot of the time the players are rather amusing, social, and potently homosexual. One such anecdote was the already espoused tale of Sword of Vengeance, a loathsome Brit bonger we spent 3 hours griefing until early in the morning. Now, whenever he sees us, he stops, stares, and then walks away, as if to try and pretend he has better things to do. He is just a thread of lore in the rich tapestry of evil constituting Mordhau's community. Playing this game with friends is like a lore safari. You see and learn so much, sometimes against your own will. For instance, Prince Nassim II.
Sniper spree.
What the fuck?
No way, yeah.
We got into a peculiar argument where he doubted the authenticity of my homosexuality. He reckoned I probably didn't even know what a Mexican lawnmower was, so, against my better judgment, I looked it up. In short, a Mexican lawnmower is the act of inserting a string of beads into another's anus, waiting a few days, and then pulling like the cord on a lawnmower, so that... You know what? I don't think I'm going to continue. How about we look at a classic case of melee slasher madness? This guy. I just got rejected by someone called Silly Boy Kisser. Apparently I wasn't effeminate enough for them when some rapscallion got a little too involved in the conversation. What followed was exactly what you've come to expect from the melee slasher scene. An endless spiel on the woes of transgenderism descended upon us, invoked by the mentioning of thigh highs, and I began to feel the chip damage being dealt to my brain. In true gaming fashion, people became more annoyed with the repeat attempts to remove him than the obnoxious bullshit he was saying, until the whole thing ran its course and we hopped offline. Hours later, my friend DM'd me screenshots of this user continuing to harass this unaffiliated party. They left a comment on their profile, spammed gore and scat imagery, called them a nonce, and did all of this because they were shadowboxing against transgender people. This unaffiliated party was a cisgender man.
This guy is fucking stupid!
There is something so morbidly amusing about someone who gets so outraged at the thought of things he can't understand that it's somehow reasonable to him to immediately start spamming gratuitous gore, facts, feelings. At this point, who gives a shit? We're all here because we have nowhere else to be. But let me tell you, Mordhau is special, because every time I play it, it has this miraculous ability to make me wish I was anywhere else.
You're gonna suck this cock good. You're gonna suck this cock clean. Yes! Yes! Yes!
What is Gmod about? Fear. We are a long way away from the year 2006, both emotionally and economically. Of the thousands who once flocked to Garry's mod, many have moved on. Even still, traces of life continue to flourish on those dusty and battered servers, as if despite the transient nature of life itself. No matter what comes out, no matter what else can be enjoyed, no matter how the world changes, they will log 6,000 hours into a small public TTT server, and they will not deviate from this plan God has set out for them. As a human who occasionally enjoys the outside world, this insistence on something so archaic and dated befuddles me. So in the spirit of exploration, I decided to spend one evening immersing myself in one of the most universally ridiculed pastimes online: roleplay.
Sorry to bother you. I'm feeling a little bit, lonely.
I'm fucking the dog.
My first stop was Dark RP, a mode that I have believed, historically, exists just for the sake of griefing. This is owed to the fact, despite the sheer number of people usually on these servers, there's nothing to actually do than just stand around and occasionally die. Within seconds of joining, I'd seen scores of random bystanders be killed without much rhyme or reason. None of these were as exciting as the murder that took place in the game chat. John, killing me doesn't make you less any of a whore. I approached all of this with an open mind and encountered a cast of colourful characters. First, these aliens, who went around sexually harassing the population and being a general menace to human society.
What the fuck? What's going on? Did you two just make out? I'm jealous. Shit, man. What the fuck? What the fuck is happening?
Next, this serial killer, who within minutes of my initial arrival lured me into his home and murdered me.
Help me. No, don't do it. Help. Help. I feel violated, man. This ain't right. Who the fuck is this guy? What the fuck is going on?
There were numerous instances of me being kidnapped by cultists and thrown into a bin.
I've been... Whoa, what? Oh, what's happening now? No, you can't do this to me.
He's an evil man. He's an evil man.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I was a member of a police force but didn't remember their own door code to the jail.
Do that. 6769.
Didn't work.
Yes, I know the code if you fucking move.
What is it?
I know the code. I know the code. I know the code.
And a stoner engineer who showed me all the things he'd built.
Oh shit, you got like the bar here and everything? That's cool.
You got a bathroom behind you there too.
Oh, and convenient. Very nice.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the fucking garage too. Yeah, I just have a stupid amount of dupes.
I hate gravity!
Bro, you just...
To my pleasant surprise, there was a noticeable absence of the sort of bad behaviour Dark RP's legacy had prepared me to expect. For a moment, I'd forgotten where exactly I was, until one particular fellow took the chance to remind me.
Damn. Necromancer? Can you like revive a dead guy? Damn. What the...
No way. For all these shenanigans, I'd taken some people aside and earnestly asked what exactly the appeal was in what they were doing. Although the answers were specifically different, the espoused sentiment was the same, and it was visible in what I saw around the map. Some players had gone to the trouble of building furnished casinos and clubhouses that stood empty, abandoned by even the owners themselves. The only establishments you'd see with any sort of activity indoors would be gun shops, because they supplied a voracious demand, backing the only meaningful thing worth doing in the server. The height of a roleplay experience would be behaving as some form of wannabe pederast, luring unsuspecting victims into secluded areas for the sake of isolated murder or unrequited love. What the fuck? That's so
help me. He murdered that man and then started kissing me. Help.
I feel like you guys need some privacy. I'm gonna go. However someone spun it, Dark RP's existence was clear. It was a free-for-all with extra steps, padded with references to meme humor dated to around a decade ago.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Sorry, that was happening too many times, I had to do so. And the lurking suspicion that over half the lobby would want to cut my head off if they knew my username was only partially a joke. All things considered, Dark RP is an unbelievably and undeservedly popular waste of time. Of course, all video games are ultimately a waste of time, so who am I to yuck someone else's yum? Who?
Hello.
Who's what? Oh, what the, who is this guy? Oh my god! Did you get it?
He's not dead.
Machine gun! But not all wastes of time are made equal, and it's hardly an incendiary statement to say standing in the sector of a downtown city just to be ruthlessly touched by other players isn't the most exhilarating prospect. What's even worse is that, of the lot, Dark RP has the most to offer. Wading deeper into the mires of Gmod roleplay, I challenged myself with something ideologically antithetical and morally odious. I vacated my mind of all pre-existing notions of what it meant to be a decent human and booted up World War II Germany RP. I wanted to see what it had to offer for a prospective chud such as myself. The answer? Absolutely fucking nothing. The arid expanses of the Sahara Desert have more to offer than whatever the hell is going on here. The labyrinthian city was abundant only in absence. Nothing stirred, nothing moved, nobody appeared. So, desperate for stimulation, I began to follow around a few uniformed players from place to place just to see what was going on. They'd walk to one building, stop, discuss something of pertinence, before then hurrying off the other way to do the same thing. Their underlings existed just to stand guard at random checkpoints and doorways. No matter, my charisma mogged these clueless fools. By pretending I was a part of a retinue, I was just let through into these buildings and complexes without much issue. Oh shit, nice jacket, bro.
Honestly, yeah. Thank you, man. Thanks.
Why is there civilian outside? Let's have some men escort them out. Can we have some
I'm just chilling. I'm just seeing what's going on.
No.
Minister and
hey, how's it going?
Someone else.
I just diffuse everything with a hey, how it's going. And I managed to get away with doing this for quite some time until somebody had to clue in.
Put your gun on safety. You're good.
Can you turn around? Can you turn around and start walking the other way?
Who, me?
Don't point your gun at me.
There's nothing else really going on. I just want to see what's happening.
I already told you to turn around and start walking the other way.
Dang.
Hey man, you gotta get out of here, bro.
Oh come on, man. I'm chill as fuck, bro. You know me, bro. You know me.
I know, bro.
Although I made direct appeals to the fact nothing was happening and I just wanted to be a bystander, I was repeatedly denied access to anything important. The much sought after gameplay of being a pedestrian was too exclusive for someone like me to touch. After I snuck into the main building and eavesdropped on a conversation for a minute,
which I was investigating.
Yeah, they said that me saying that I was the acting head of government was treason. That's
well, I mean, if you need us to do forensics of guns, we can, because I mean, there is a difference here, right?
I was eventually caught and promptly escorted off the premises.
So I went in there again, I kicked down the door and I said, put your hands up, and not
What's the problem? I don't know what you want me to do in this situation. I don't know what's going on. Okay, follow you. At this point, I asked the same question I did to the Dark RP players, and somehow, the answer was even worse. So, what do I really do in this server? Is there like a role select thing that I have to do or something?
Go up and join. They have a whitelist.
I see. Okay, so in the meantime, I've just got to kind of wait, right?
You can like walk around.
In World War II Germany RP, the prevailing gameplay experience is you spawn in as a civilian and you wait. You can't listen in on anything, you can't interact with anyone without being told to go away, you can't enter any of the buildings where things are happening, you can't even pick a rogue to be on the team. You just wait, patiently, out of sight and mind, for someone to arbitrarily decide you've made the cut. And what happens when you've made that cut? They give you a rifle and a uniform just to continue doing fuck all.
Okay, guard, can I just ask you a question? You watched that guy run me over twice, and you didn't do anything. Can I just ask, like, what your responsibility is here?
I think if you keep standing here, it might be a third time.
The most exciting experience I had was being repeatedly made the victim of vehicular manslaughter, and, just in case I forgot exactly where I was, a group of delightful fellows drove by and ingratiated themselves.
NSB stands for
okay, so because
Why'd you shoot me?
In a surprise turn of events, these guys ended up being my greatest allies. One of them managed to secure some weapons and ammunition for a revolt against the fascist establishment. I was granted an MP40, truckloads of ammunition, and a simple target. I'd exhausted all of my options in trying to participate regularly, so, at that point, I thought I'd at least have some fun being an antagonist for the fascist team to come and suppress.
Hey gents, I'm sorry to interrupt. You guys know where like anything's happening? I'm a new player. I'm just trying to see where the stuff's going on.
You want to show me your ID real quick?
How do I show you the ID?
You triggered my trap card!
The following gunfight was an embarrassing affair. Armed with a single stuttering submachine gun, I somehow managed to beat 4 foes while wounded and pinned down. I reloaded, expecting a second wave of NSB to come crashing down on my head, only to be met with this screen.
Hey, how's it going? No way. I did get banned for that. That's crazy. What am I meant to do then?
Apparently, a civilian attacking a pair of fascist commanders who were just standing out on the street wholly unattended didn't seem like an attempt at roleplay. This was in contravention to the prescribed experience of standing around, which, to me, explained the inabilities of the guards to shoot their weapons. This was truly interesting because, even when I had presented a roleplay opportunity to these people, eliminating a dissident citizen who had turned his weapon on the sovereign authority, this was, somehow, perceived as a violation of the premise. I already understood this mode existed purely to appeal to the niche sensibilities of some convoluted polycule, but genuinely, what was there to gain from this? Why would they snuff out an actual moment to do something just so they can go back to their daily session of fictional gossip? How could they feasibly expect someone who was presented with this the majority of the time would want to sit around waiting to be noticed, even if they were politically sympathetic to this sort of roleplay? My takeaway from this whole ordeal? These sorts of fascist wannabes are the biggest bunch of pussies conceivable to mankind, and that's not just a matter of opinion, but, based on this footage, a fact observable by God. And somehow, this wasn't the worst of it. Gmod is a cruel mistress. When you're not joining modes that involve standing around waiting, you're spending your time also waiting to load in, actively reminded of the mistake you're making as you watch all your precious storage space be violated by whatever crummy skins are being downloaded. Is this a joke? After a solid 20 minutes of this, I managed to load into a Mafia RP server packed with around 70 people. Somehow, unsurprisingly, the streets were bereft of much activity. The closest thing to actual stimulation was a gaggle of players at the city square, who, true to form, were pretty peculiar.
I don't like Patrolo, black motherfucking corn on the stick, drive a lowrider. Ahorita, pinche pendejo a la verga.
I hate this place.
As usual, this place was tortuously absent of any meaningful onboarding. Perhaps the server owners assumed players would teach the newbies, which, to be honest, was a vast overestimation of the social capabilities of Gmod's native player base.
Oh shit, that guy's got a gun.
No, don't shoot, Papi, don't shoot. Papi.
Oh shit.
I'm sorry, Papi. I get angry. Papi. I'm sorry.
Do it, bro.
I'm sorry.
Oh shit.
You fucking killed him.
So there I was, walking around broke and bored, the only source of excitement being the depravity of the people around me, until I made a fateful encounter with one particular man.
Hey gents, how's it going?
Are you alright?
I'm just looking to try and work a job and trying to make some money.
Oh yeah, I got you. I can take care of you.
Oh,
Here, come with me. Let me get you a suit and shit.
Maybe it was because Dark RP had primed me to expect to be unceremoniously murdered. Maybe it's because World War II Germany RP had prepared me to be banned from being anywhere and doing anything. But I was genuinely surprised when this gentleman went and bought me a suit. He gave me money, introduced me to some pals he was with, and employed me as a bouncer for his restaurant for Blue Lobster.
Go ahead, so what I want you to do, right? Hey, how you doing?
Who the fuck is this?
Let's be just don't do this.
You fucking hit me, I'll lay you the fuck out.
We conversed, he showed interest in the flimsy character I'd made, and I was actively involved in the operation of a mafia restaurant I protected. This guy's approach was a jarring juxtaposition to all I'd experienced that day. Talking to him was just like, unbelievably, talking to a regular person. He was putting a lot of effort not just in facilitating a roleplay environment, but also in facilitating the involvement of others. The effort was commendable, and the intentions admirable, but after a few minutes, I realized that I was practically observing someone else's endless torture. Wherever we went and whatever we did, my mysterious benefactor's label was met with mixed results. Some people wouldn't reply to us.
Hey, Vinny. Hey, this is one of our new potential employees. I'm gonna have him working security work at the Lobster.
Thank you, thank you.
Does it look like I care?
Others would behave ambivalently.
You know, communication.
Hey, welcome to the Blue
voice.
Lobster. How can I help you? And even those supposedly already in his group kind of stood around and mumbled their answers to everything.
What's up, man?
Hello, kind sir. Would you like to have some food inside?
Alright, so Geronimo, as far as outside, right? Sorry about that.
I made an effort to reciprocate his investment, have a bit of give and take, but it always felt half-hearted on my behalf. It was 4 in the morning, I didn't really want to be hanging around, and the more I became actively involved, the more I felt I was becoming a foundational element I couldn't really afford to be. The enthusiasm to involve me almost felt like a result of there having been no one else he could have done this with for a very long time. Outside of me, the height of his experience may have very well been the 2 losers on the pavement arguing about one of them being black. My heart actually started to break when he continued to involve me, just to be interrupted by someone next to us with persisting tech issues, forcing him to bring his conversations to a standstill just to then serve as tech support.
X. Press your X muscle. Press and hold it. You might be able to talk. Alright, Geronimo, so as far as outside is your mic properly functioning?
Bless
your
him.
Voice
He's
box?
really wanted to do this with me, and now this guy's turned up.
I rebinded my pickup key and it's still not working. Like, I've tried multiple times to rebind it.
There came a point where I just could not take it anymore. This guy was stranded in some bizarre purgatory, forever doomed to be the attendant of an empty bar, and I couldn't stomach being a witness to it. So, as he continued to try and explain to the kid next to me how to interact with the item he dropped on the floor for the 5th time, I quietly stood, walked around the corner of the door, and bid a silent farewell to the prison I'd just visited. Gmod is a game that, in this day and age, beggars belief. All the titles above, exempting one specific failure, are things that have varying levels of appeal that I could ultimately understand someone else coming to enjoy, even if I couldn't. But Gmod is an oddity of a cesspit. It's a collection of modes and maps that, if not empty of people, are empty of reason to play. Once upon a time, I could see why so many would still inhabit the servers. Sometimes you just want to mess around. Can't a young brother show a bit of impulse and whimsy?
All the fun stuff is happening.
But nowadays, I fail to recognize what Gmod could possibly offer to someone that isn't virtual gambling, glorified FFA, or talking in a voice chat. The roleplay game modes that seemingly exist for the likes of our mysterious benefactor are really just convoluted conditions to digitally murder one another. Game modes that have become infamous for being mini homages to totalitarian regimes, where deviating from the owner's intended vision, even if said vision basically forces all other participants to stand around and twiddle their thumbs, is a perceived transgression that needs to be punished. All of this is permeated by a sense of humor that is embarrassing to partake in, uttered by people who are genuinely repugnant and off-putting even by the internet's insanely low standards.
Like NSB stands for sucking balls.
Is that what it stands for?
It may get you grabbed by them, so do it at your own risk.
Okay. Gmod feels like a game you'd play to chase a mirage of better days. Something you'd boot up because, once upon a time, it clicked in a way your undeveloped brain savored. But now that fun is gone, and all you can get instead are rough approximations of it. At this point, I think people who still play this game don't do it for fun, but spite. To spite others, to spite themselves, and maybe even to spite change. To pretend they haven't gotten older, that the world hasn't continued rotating, and that they've still got plenty of time to waste. That is the kernel of uneasy truth that earned Gmod's spot at the bottom. Nostalgia is a hell of a drug. Shit was just simpler back then. But huff that stuff for too long, and the copium will ruin you. Time is inescapable. It will catch up. You can't ban it from the server. And to play a game such as this, something so unappealing to the sane and unacquainted for the implicit purpose of spiting time itself, is an act of foolishness too poetic to not conclude on.